Okay, everybody ready?
Yes.
Are we ready? We're going? Okay,
We have
go
quorum.
ahead.
Beckwith,
Here.
Caldwell,
Here.
Farkapisi, absent. Ketman,
Here.
Kotsinis,
Here.
Linsdau,
Here.
Sutton, absent. We have a quorum.
Okay, pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Warren Newport Public Library District provides the community with access to information, kindles the imagination of children and adults, and supports lifelong learning.
I'll do safety instruction in the event of an emergency. The exit is right here. If you need to use the restroom, I think you'll know it's down the hallway to the right.
Okay, anyone need to take anything off the consent agenda? Okay, can we have a motion then?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor? Say aye. Opposed? Abstain. Okay. When would be a good time for me to make that motion, Ellen? Maybe I'll wait till after public comment or before new
No,
business.
I think
Okay.
anytime is fine. You just want to get it done?
No, I'll do it later.
Okay, I will make a note.
Okay, President's Report, page 15. Questions?
Just a question. Ryan, the stats overall are down from last year. So I'm just curious, is the libraries in general seeing declines in
Circulation
usage,
numbers?
circulations? Yeah. I mean, some of it makes sense to me, like compact discs and CDs and that type of thing. That makes natural sense. But I'm just wondering if you just have an overall opinion on the decline.
Yeah, I think that this is not unique to us, and I think the decline has to do with just the obvious things, right? With different ways to access content, more people, accessing, books on their devices. I mean, I think people, obviously the numbers are still like good overall,
Right.
But when you're comparing them year to year, they're not so good. And I think that's why one of the things that's in the strategic plan, which we're going to really take a focus on this summer, is the idea of looking at statistics based on outcomes as opposed to, just these outputs like total circ and those types of things. Because I don't think the circulation numbers necessarily measure the impact that the libraries have in the community. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm concerned about that. And, I think there are ways we could artificially change some policies to inflate our circulation numbers, but that doesn't really fix any
No,
issues.
no.
And I think it's symptomatic of society. So since it's occurring in other libraries, I'm not too concerned about it, and it's something to monitor for sure.
Yeah. All right.
I think we've had the same discussion before, though, that what we see in our statistics doesn't completely capture everything that we do
Right.
towards our mission. And what we need is a better metric to identify how we're fulfilling our library mission, what portion of our funding is going towards fulfilling those goals.
Yeah.
What about remember the data analytics, is that what that was for? Remember that product?
Analytics on demand.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. You could use aspects of analytics on demand with that. I met with the rep from Gale probably like a couple months ago, and hopefully I'll see her this weekend to see see what other libraries are doing with that tool, because I think that's a tool that we really haven't done enough with this year, and there's so much potential with that in terms of from annual appeal letters to identifying who are our power users that make X number of dollars a year that fit the certain criteria, and we can target those individuals. That's just one example of many. So yeah, it's a powerful tool.
Or what about project outcome? Could that apply to this?
Yeah,
I haven't read enough about it.
in the strategic plan overview. That's one of those things that got pushed back a little bit. And this summer, Diana Stills, head of youth services, is going to work with the management team, and we're going to discuss the lessons they learned, because youth services has been experimenting with that.
I saw that in the
use.
report, yeah.
So yeah. But it's certainly a challenge, and it's not an easy thing to do, or we'd all have this figured out by now. But yeah, so
Okay.
Okay, we kind of went a little out of order, so why don't we finish this up here? Anyone have any other questions about the exec director's report? Okay, so let's go back. So president's report was 15. Anyone else have a report? Reports of other trustees? Anyone? You have correspondence?
No, no.
Cool. All right, public comment? Anyone want to make a public comment?
I'm allowed 3 minutes.
Well, let's see. You're allowed 3 minutes. Please introduce yourself and present any issues that you wish, not to exceed a total of 20 if we had multiple speakers. If you want your remarks added to the board record, you have to give a copy to the secretary in
No,
advance.
I have some documents for you, but not to enter into the board
Okay.
minutes. Hello, I'm Lori Stracula, patron, former trustee, library volunteer, and amateur astronomy enthusiast. When I was in 5th grade, I read A Wrinkle in Time, and my life expanded from the confines of Earth to the celestial skies. As I looked upward, my fascination with the stars began, and I had been attending the Skokie Valley Astronomers Club for many years, and 2 years ago I joined LCAS, the Lake County Astronomical Society. LCS is a group of people of all ages who are interested in the science of astronomy. Our club runs a gamut from amateurs to professionals to people brand new to the hobby. We meet on the 3rd Friday of each month at the Vola Bog, and the meetings are free and open to the public. A primary function of LCAS is education. Usually I talk slower and I look at people, but I can't do 3 minutes unless I read this whole thing. So pretend I'm smiling at you. A primary function of LCAS, because this looks intense, it shouldn't be intense. A primary function of LCAS is education, and we have a number of outreach programs. 2 that impact libraries directly are AUTCL and Lone Star, pardon me. I don't believe WNPL participates in either of these programs. AUTCL is Astronomy Under the City Lights, where we visit local libraries and set up telescopes for the public to view the moon in various stages. To date, more than 10,000 people in Lake County have attended these events at other libraries. The program I wish to discuss briefly is the Lone Star program. It's the Library Telescope program. In 2014, LCAS initiated a library telescope program for Lake County-wide Illinois libraries. 3 libraries teamed up with LCAS to pilot this program, and we purchased 3 Orion Starblast telescopes, which are a rugged, user-friendly telescope, which we donate to the libraries. Our first 3 pilots were ELA, Fremont, and Indian Trails Library. Each telescope is a little over $200. As of December 2017, our latest library partner, Vernon Area Public Library, is now circulating 10 Lone Star telescopes. We have also just recently donated a telescope to Deerfield Library, who has started their program. We now have 45 telescopes placed in Lake County libraries. None at Warren Newport yet. In our Lone Star program, our library partners receive 1 telescope, in which we donate. We provide training and backup for any telescope issues. We also purchase at cost any additional telescopes that the library may want to use in their collection. I have included 2 articles from the Daily Herald that featured this program. The latest article was just a couple months ago, talking about Vernon Area Public Library's telescope program. At present, with 10 telescopes, they still have 43 patrons on a hold list. I have included information and context about this program. Club member Dave Wagner has graciously provided his phone number, our website, and also a Yahoo email. I hope the library will consider obtaining more information about this wonderful, enriching experience for our patrons. As a longstanding library volunteer, if there's any way I can assist in this special project to at least to problem solve, learn more information, distribute questionnaires, talk to other libraries about this program, I would be glad to assist in any way. Thank you for your time. I have some information. I have the 2 articles. I have an article about the club, and I have 2 of the articles from the Daily Herald. It's really not a program. It's not like a program that, like, we're going to do a program on telescopes. It's actually a service that was provided. Wasn't quite sure where to start. I was a little dismayed because this is the third time my club has done an overview in 2015, 16, and 17 about this program, and Warren Newport has never been featured. The organizer of the program didn't even know where Warren Newport was. So I told him that I was just going to explain the program to the library, and hopefully in the future might consider it as an additional service that we provide to our patrons. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lori.
Anyone else? Okay.
I have a question.
Mhm.
I thought that we had decided to move public comments to before the consent agenda.
We did, but we're about to approve policy 1001 that
Oh,
has
which will
that
do that.
change, so we will
Yes.
do it next time if the
Gotcha.
policy passes. I know this because I moved it myself and Ryan had to correct me.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, okay, so how about strat plan? We didn't cover that, or did you cover it?
I mean, I
You wanted
didn't,
to, yeah.
I don't know if people had any questions. I mean, the overall thing I'll say is that, and that was covered a little bit in the main director's report about some specific action items in the strategic plan that I want us to focus on this summer. And, you know, with the timeline, some of the timelines change for various reasons. Obviously, you know, a key example of that is the fundraising action items due to the fact that we don't have the Development Council established as we had hoped. That timeline's been pushed back. But I feel good about making at least some progress on all these action items. And the one I feel really good about is the District 56 program that we've going with the library card sign up. So yeah, so it's I think this is obviously a good thing for us to do because it is with all the things we have going on just day to day, it's very easy to lose sight of the strategic plan, and we're moving forward. So, but yeah, I highlighted on page 17. You know, the things that I really want to focus on in the near future, getting that fundraising development council established. We talked about the outcome-based assessment of programs and services. And then I hope to meet with Dr. Hutton over the summer to talk about the hotspot lending program that District 56 did this year. It was set to something we were going to look at earlier, but when I met with Dr. Hutton, like 9 months ago, he said, you know, Ryan, why don't we meet in the summer and we can give you an overview of how it went for us, and then we'll have more data, and then it'll basically give us more information to decide what, if anything, we want to do with a program like that. So,
No questions.
No more questions? Okay,
I went out of turn,
that's okay. No worries. Okay, committee reports, 37 through 41. Comments, questions?
I just want to comment that on page 37, whoever used the phrase technological wizardry was pretty genius. I really enjoyed that, and as one who does view it as sort of wizardry, I appreciated that phrase.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was going to mention this later, but I'll just say, I think that these committee report forms could use a little editing. And so I'm going to work on that for the next committee of the whole. And the reason why I say that is because I gave Kathleen a committee report form, and she filled it out totally logically with the words that we have been using. And I realized, where it says action items, she put a motion there, which is, of course, what it seems like it should be. So this form's been around. Steve made this, I think. And it's had a few tweaks, but I'm going to try to make it more understandable so that a new person, I don't know where all this language came from, but it's kind of confusing, and I'm going to fix it for the next committee of the whole. So anyway, just an FYI. All right, we have a lot of new business here, and shall we start out with go ahead.
I would ask that someone make a motion for
Oh, yeah,
Secretary
thank you
Pro
for
Tem.
the reminder. Okay, so we have a lot of things that need to be signed tonight by myself and the secretary, and Bonnie cannot be here tonight. So we reached out to Ann, and she graciously agreed to step in, and so that we can get these things filed and placed where they're supposed to be in a timely fashion. So with that in mind, I would like to make a motion that we elect Ann Linsdow as our acting secretary for this meeting tonight, and if I could have a second to that.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain. Okay, thank you for the reminder.
Yep.
Okay, so first thing on new business is the budget, and would someone like to make a motion for that, please? Page 43.
So moved.
Kathleen? Anyone want a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion? Questions? Okay, let's have a roll call.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Kotsinis,
Aye.
Getman,
Aye.
Linsdau,
Aye.
Beckwith,
Aye.
Sutton and Farkapisi absent. Ayes have it.
Okay.
Can I say something? Just because
Please.
this is, especially since this is being recorded. As I said at the committee of the whole, I just want to thank everybody I want to thank the board for your hard work on the budget process, especially Andrea Farkapisi, who can't be here. I want to thank the great management team and the staff for all the work they do putting this budget together, particularly Doug Weiderberg, who's not here this evening. So thank you for your hard work. This is it's still a challenging, time, but I think we're getting a lot of value. Taxpayers are getting great value for the money we're spending, and it's a budget that's sustainable, and with our capital plan, we're still putting money aside to pay for those major capital projects that are coming up. So thank you.
I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I feel certain that if Andrea were here, she would say also that the board appreciates the participation that we get to have in the process, and that we do it deliberately over this time period. And I think that's
I would agree.
yeah, so, thank you. Okay, my media mall. Who wants to make a motion for that, please?
I move that WNPL enter into an intergovernmental library agreement to formally establish the Electronic Content Consortium, and that it be adopted as presented.
I'll second that. Discussion? It was a formidable agreement, I have to say. I was
Yeah.
not expecting anything quite as,
The only
It
thing
just
that
went
I'll
on
mention,
and-
I think our name should be featured more prominently since we had such a long putting this together.
No, I want people to adopt the agreement, George. I don't want to.
any other further explanation you want to give us? or-
No, I mean, hopefully I outlined the highlights in
Yeah.
the memo. It's something that should have done a long time ago, and now we're doing the right thing.
Kudos to you for catching it and pursuing it, too.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. And I'm happy, and just so the board knows, I have no intention of running for any of those officer positions in the agreement. Don't worry, I'm done. I've done my part. I feel like I passed on to somebody else, so.
Okay. Are we ready to vote?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should have a roll call for this.
Getman,
Aye.
Linsdau,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Kotsinis,
Aye.
Beckwith,
Aye.
Farkapisi, and Sutton absent. Ayes have it.
Okay, policy 1001, page 77. So, maybe we should start with a motion before we have a discussion. I'll move that the board approve policy 1001 bylaws as presented. Anyone want a second?
I'll second.
Okay. So, the cover memo, I think, tries to explain it, but this has two changes in it that weren't in here when, at committee of the whole. And is everyone up to speed on that? Did you, any questions about that? Ryan could explain it.
So I'll ask for an explanation, just because this is complicated enough that we should.
Right, okay, so Andrea, at the last committee of the whole, brought up her concern that we had two conflicting policies for voting. One was that we explained what our quorum was in bylaws, and the second one was that in the personnel policy, 202 personnel files, we require a supermajority for any trustee to look at personnel records. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So Ryan contacted the law firm, and Mark told him that we could make a supermajority in policy 2002, but that he didn't feel it would legally hold up if anyone were to challenge it. And our primary reason for putting the supermajority in there was to prevent any trustee from just going in the back of admin and just going through personnel records for no reason. And the only reason why we would ever need to see personnel records is if we have to help settle a personnel dispute that can't be done all the way through admin and up through Ryan, if the person wants to bring that sort of thing to the board. So we wrote this change on page 85 to explain that that would be our only involvement with personnel records. And then because he said, Mark said that changing to a supermajority probably wouldn't hold up, we also removed it from page 80 in section 3.05. This sentence here, a majority of those present shall determine the vote taken on any question unless a larger majority is specified by state statute. That is directly from the statute. And our guess was that at some point on a prior board, the board inserted that other phrase that we could require supermajority if we wanted to, and he has said, really, it's not really gonna hold up. So we took that out also. Is that as confusing as possible?
Good job.
Okay?
Good explanation.
Okay.
No,
Don't ask me any questions because I might not be able to answer them. Okay, but really, seriously, does anyone have any questions? You need any other further clarification? The other changes that are in here were the ones that we all agreed to at committee of the whole. Okay? Ready to vote? Let's have a roll call.
Linsdau.
Aye.
Caldwell.
Aye.
Kotsinis.
Aye.
Ketman.
Aye.
Beckwith.
Aye.
Sutton and Farkapisi absent. Ayes have it.
Okay. All right, so next is page 87, personnel files, and I will make a motion that the board approve policy 202, personnel files, as presented. Someone want to second that?
I'll second.
Okay. So the commensurate change is inserted in here in the third paragraph, where I removed the part about the supermajority being required and explained what our access to personnel records would be. We just did this policy in February, so everything else is already freshly edited, but this is a change. Questions? Comments? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Okay. All right, 2040, I'm gonna let you explain that one. I'll make a motion that the board approve policy 2040 wage scale as presented.
yeah, just to-
Anyone want a second?
I'll second.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this was discussed at committee of the whole, but as a quick summary, what we're doing here on the bottom end of the scale, we haven't done anything with that in 9 years. We're bumping that up 3%, which is bringing us more in line with what the Management Association report indicates we should be paying for those positions. The beginning part of the scale, and the top of the scale is going up 2%. Which is, to allow us to continue with, merit increases for people at the top of the scale, which is sort of a cost of living increase in essence. So, any questions about that? Because it was discussed at the last meeting, I'm not sure if there are any questions since then.
Okay? Let's have a roll call.
Caldwell.
Abstain.
Kotsinis.
Aye.
Linsdau.
Aye.
Ketman.
Aye.
Beckwith.
Aye.
Absent Farkapisi and Sutton. Ayes have it.
Okay. All right, next is the meeting schedule ordinance, page 91. Anyone want to make a motion for that?
I move that we adopt ordinance 2016-2017-10, ordinance setting schedule of regular meetings of the Board of Library Trustees of the Warren Newport Public Library District.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I want this to be a roll call.
It's an ordinance.
Yeah, I think we should, yeah, okay, fine.
Linsdau,
Aye.
Kotsinis,
Aye.
Ketman,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Beckwith,
Aye.
absent Farkapisi and Sutton. Ayes have it.
Okay. Prevailing wage is page 95. Anyone want to make a motion for that? I'm sorry?
I was just
Oh,
thinking
okay.
something.
All right. Anyone want to make a motion for that
I'll
one?
make make a motion that the ordinance 2016/2017-11 prevailing wage rate for fiscal year 2017 through 2018 be adopted as presented.
I'll second.
Discussion? Questions? Okay, let's vote for that.
Linsdau,
Aye.
Ketman,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Kotsinis,
Aye.
Beckwith,
Aye.
absent Farkapisi and Sutton. Ayes have it.
Okay, let's see. Transfer to the special reserve fund.
Do we have the
Page
updated version?
98.
Oh, no, it's like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Page 98.
Can I just, as I indicated in the memo, what the version that was sent out in the packet was not the final version because section 1, we weren't sure the exact sum that we had to transfer. So that number is $75,000. What we were waiting to do is we were trying to determine, we had to, crunch numbers to see what standing orders we might have coming in, other book orders coming in to determine that final number.
75,000 even, is that correct?
Yes. So, which is good, so that's more money that we can
Yeah.
have for capital projects in the future.
Okay, we don't have a motion yet, correct?
Alright. I
Okay.
move that we adopt ordinance 2016-2017-12, an ordinance transferring money to the Special Reserve Fund, amending section 1 of the presented text to indicate a sum of $75,000.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? Okay.
Ketman,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Linsdau,
Aye.
Kotsinis,
Aye.
Beckwith,
Aye.
absent Sutton and Farkapisi. Ayes have it.
Okay. Last one. Page 102. Anyone want to make a motion for that, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion, questions for Ryan? Okay, go ahead.
Kotsinis,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Ketman,
Aye.
Linsdau,
Aye.
Beckwith,
Aye.
absent Farkapisi and Sutton. Ayes have it.
Okay. I forgot we had this on here. Recording volunteer hours.
So one of the things that I realized when we were getting ready for the volunteer appreciation luncheon, so Laura Stone is our volunteer coordinator. I think most of you know Laura, and I said, well, what about the board? Because the board, they put in many hours, and are we getting those numbers recorded in our volunteer hour statistics? And we realized we weren't. There is a software program that Laura uses that a lot of times volunteers will do on their own, but Laura suggested the best thing to do is just each month to have individual board members email her, or you can email me, and we can give those numbers to Laura. Probably better to email Laura directly, so we can put your hours that you're putting into this volunteer job that you have into the system, so we can count that towards our volunteer numbers. So that's all. It's just information. So if you would please share the time you put in, meaning time tonight, time you spend reviewing the packet, time you do everything that you do to be a library trustee, that would be much appreciated.
Questions?
So, like, yeah, I have a question.
Please.
So, like, you want us to track the amount of time we spend on library business or library activity or?
Yes, yes, and I think that this doesn't have to be something where you have to, you know, like Joe calls you and, oh, I better start my stopwatch and see how long this conversation is. It can be, you know, it can be, you can round up, round down, it doesn't have to be exact, so.
Okay. And the purpose of this is to,
Because we keep those statistics. One of the things that we do is we give awards for our volunteers based on the number of hours they've served the library. So that's part of it too. So it would be nice to count those hours.
Would library trustees even be eligible to
yeah, I was
receive any
just
such
thinking, that
awards?
doesn't make sense.
Well, that's something that is, I guess, is a good point in terms of the recognition. But I at the same time, though, it's one of those things that well, I know that, and this has come up in the past, that at the volunteer appreciation luncheon we give, I think it's certificates to Baker Square. Is that what to our volunteers to honor their service, and we've given those to trustees in the past. And I know,
Yeah, but the last time I took one, I said, I think I should give this back.
Right, and
Yeah.
and board members have given it back.
Mhm.
But I think being recognized for hours of service, but at the same time, I know maybe that's for further discussion. But at the very least, it would be good to monitor hours, so overall we know the volunteer hours that go towards running and supporting the library. It's maybe another discussion to discuss. Okay, should those volunteer hours as a board member go towards certain achievements and hours spent? That's probably a philosophical discussion.
I think it's a longer discussion we can have in one board meeting.
Oh, right,
I'll put
right.
it on a committee of the whole. We can chat about it.
But I think in the meantime though it's well, it's I guess we'll have to decide that in the future. But I think it would be good for I would like to record the hours that you spend personally.
Is it because we're trying to compare ourselves with other organizations that track hours? I mean, I was just trying to understand the purpose of it. I mean,
I think it's just good for us to know. I think what it shows is, I guess from my point of view, and I talk about this all the time, and it's not just a cliche. I really firmly believe this, that the Warren Newport Public Library, it takes a lot of effort for us to be the great library that we are. I will say it starts with the tremendous staff that we have, but we have this amazing group of volunteers, and not just friends. And the friends are so phenomenal for all they do for us. But people that come in here and do shelf reading, to help us with fundraising events, to obviously this library board. You do this because you're giving back to the community. You're not getting paid to do this, and it's a lot of work and a lot of effort. And there aren't too many people that want to sign up for this job. It's an important job. So I think what that number reflects is as all the is a part of all the hard work that goes into making the library great.
I just don't want to scare off any future trustees from doing this job.
That's funny.
So.
All right, we'll have a chat about it at a
Okay.
committee of the
I
whole
just don't
meeting.
think we need certificates of appreciation. I think this is something we do. It's something, anyway.
And I respect Ann, your opinion, but I think the other volunteers would say that too. I think that I think our volunteers appreciate it, but I guarantee those individuals that spend multiple hours a week sorting through books on bookends, they're not doing it for recognition either. But I think it's a good thing to do. I mean, my philosophy is you want to recognize people for the good work that they do. It's just the right thing to do.
I do
and,
too. I
yeah.
think we should, but
Right.
I just don't know that the board should.
Sure.
do it.
No, I
We're
understand.
usually
I
the
understand.
ones doing the recognizing, not
Yes.
being recognized.
That's fair.
All right, we'll talk more about it at committee of the whole. Okay. Okay, so items for the July meeting or August committee of the whole.
Let's go ahead and add the Lone Star program discussion.
Sorry, Yeah, yeah. What month are we in? Yeah,
We're talking about
July
now.
committee of the whole or July meeting. Mhm.
Since Lori brought this to our attention, let's go ahead and add the Lone Star program to our committee of the whole discussion.
Okay. What
Is
else?
that a discussion for staff instead of
We'd
the
need staff
board?
input as well, but the board would ultimately make decisions on a completely new category of item.
I disagree.
We don't have any policy section that would describe a piece of astronomical equipment.
I understand that, but I don't think it's our decision necessarily. It's like adding, when we, if we get HP streams and then we do fines and fees and circulation, I think it's more of a staff.
I think it's Ryan brings this to us if the staff thinks this is a good idea, or maybe even Ryan just tells us this is what we're doing.
Yeah, and I'm certainly gonna. I mean, we typically it's our policy not to respond to the public comment, but I'll tell Lori right now. I definitely want to look at it. In my past library, we circulated these as well, telescopes, and it was through a partnership. And I think that this program definitely sounds intriguing. I don't want to make any promises, but yeah, I'm interested to learn more about it. And I think this is the type of thing that's nice. Because it's a partnership with another organization in the community that's doing this, and it's not something we'd be taking on our own. So yeah, no, we'll definitely talk about it as a staff. And I appreciate Lori bringing it to our attention because I hadn't heard of it. So
Any other items? Or for next regular board? Okay. Anyone want to speak in public forum?
I just wanted to make a comment about the use of rewarding like volunteers and versus staff, versus the board. Through the years, it's always a good thing to highlight, and the library's done a great job of highlighting the volunteer hours and how many FTEs that would be. As a taxpayer, you pay taxes to the library for services, but then you realize that the library's making a concerted effort to welcome volunteers and to utilize them to save money. So I always think that that's a great idea, that the library continues to take hours of, regular volunteers. I think you'll have to look at some of the statutes about the use of how trustees are rewarded. But I think it is a great service, and I like that the library highlights how much thousands of dollars in savings our volunteers provide.
Okay.
yeah.
I'm looking at this note I wrote and wondering what it means, and now I remember. Okay, so it's this announcement. So this is a sample business card for everyone, and I'll just pass these around, and so check. And the idea is that everyone gets 4 business cards, and typically start off with 50. Does that seem okay to everybody? So just check
Do
your
we need
info.
new ones if we already still have our old ones?
I looked at that, and mine doesn't look like that. If you already have one that looks like that, you may not need it, but I must have,
I got business cards in the past and I didn't pass out one of them.
oh, okay.
And, I just didn't.
I rarely do, but I am going to
Well, if you
ALA
don't
on
need it,
Friday.
I say,
Yeah,
of
I
the
would-
50 that I
I
got
would
when I
pay out.
first came on here, I think I still have like 48.
Yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
George and Tom don't need
Yeah.
any.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters if they look the same, George. I think they're
Yeah.
the ones you ever find. I think it's good to have, but you're right. It's not like you're going to
And
necessarily.
then I so rarely use them,
or
and
anything.
sometimes when I do go somewhere where I could pass them out, I forget to bring them. Okay.
If you don't need the.
Okay, so your
50,
decision,
you
just let Gina
decide.
know what your
Mhm.
preference is, okay, before you leave. Anything else? Anyone else have any announcements?
I have a comment, and I'm
Please.
perhaps in the wrong spot.
It's okay.
On page 31, there's a mistake. So I thought I would bring it to your attention. In the first section, it's partner with local schools. If you go over to the recommendations for action section,
Yep.
it says District 50 is very eager to work with us on this after our trial with District 50.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think you made 56.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Good catch.
I've never been called a catch before, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, anyone want to move to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, thank you.
right.
It is 7:40.
Pretty
7:40.
good work for a agenda with so much on it.
We had a lot on it.
Yeah.